Okay, so, you know, this Big Data Manifesto you sent over, I gotta say, this thing is wild.
Yeah.
Like, I'm getting this weird feeling, kind of like, I don't know, discovering some secret art movement happening right under our noses.
It's definitely out there.
Big Dada. It's like they took daddyism, like Duchamp and that whole crew, and just threw it in a blender with, like, every scrap of data they could find.
A digital art smoothie.
Exactly, but with a bit more bite to it. This manifesto doesn't mess around.
No, it doesn't.
It's like, line one, boom. We are the digital jesters, here to tear down the walls of reason.
That's one way to put it.
It's provocative, right? And they just keep going, down with sense, embrace the absurd. The machine malfunction is our muse. They're like celebrating errors, glitches, all the stuff programmers pull their hair out over.
And that's what makes it so interesting, right? It's tapping into this whole anxiety, this excitement around AI art and what it means to be creative in this like increasingly digital world.
Because it's everywhere you look now, right? AI generating images, music, even writing.
Exactly. I mean, we've got Daily 2, Midjourney spitting out these mind-blowing images, but this big data thing, they're not just using the AI, they're like, I don't know, worshiping the glitches in the matrix or something.
Right, like the beauty's in the breakdown. It's
Yeah.
like they're saying, forget perfect algorithms. Let's see what happens when the machine gets a little weird.
And that's a really interesting question, isn't it? I mean, is that a legitimate artistic choice to just embrace the randomness, or is it, like they say, a gimmick?
Yeah, is it even possible for a machine to be truly random? Or is it all just code in the end?
Yeah.
And I mean, where does that leave the artist?
Right. Are they just, what, prompting the machine and then taking credit?
Or are they more like, I don't know, curators going through all the AI output and picking out the pieces that speak to them?
It's a whole new way of thinking about art, that's for sure.
And then there's that line, what is it? Turn your data into data. What do you even think that looks like in practice?
I don't know, it's an intriguing thought, right? Like, imagine feeding all your old emails into an algorithm and getting back a surrealist landscape.
Or stock market data turned into a sculpture?
Exactly. It kind of makes you wonder, could this be the thing that finally, like, democratizes art making? I mean, you don't need fancy brushes or expensive equipment. You just need data. Everyone's got data.
Right, which I guess is its own can of worms, right?
Hmm.
Like, who controls the data? Who gets to decide what gets turned into art? And does this just end up widening the gap between the haves and the have-nots in the art world even more?
It's definitely something to think about. And then there's a question of whether this even is art in the traditional sense.
And whether it even matters at the end of the day, right?
Exactly. Is it provoking a response, making you think differently? Then maybe it's done its job.
Maybe that's the point, right? To shake things up, to challenge our assumptions?
Because when you really get down to it, this manifesto might be onto something, right? It says, Big data is not a movement, but an explosion.
And I'm feeling that explosion,
Yeah.
Like, this could just be a blip on the radar, a weird AI fever dream. Or it could be the start of something much bigger.
The start of a whole new era of art.
And I don't know about you, but I kind of have to find out.
Me too.
So what do you think, listeners? Are you ready to dive into the deep end of big data with us? It's going to be a wild ride.